the Open Championship this week, and you have found us on the Fantasy Golf Degenerates after tuning into the DG Nation station for this week. The show is brought to you by ProphetX. As always, use code FG Degenerates to get yourself 1.5% cash back up to $200 over there at the good people at ProphetX. We'll have a couple of those bets later on in the show. As always, I got the king of the couch, Kenny motherfucking Kim. What's up, Kenny?
What is up, man? It's always great to be the final major of the year. Should be a fun one. Scottish Open was pretty fun last week, but there was a lot of good golf on Sunday. Before we move on, let's talk about our YouTube comments. Winner, there was none this past week. Back-to-back weeks with no winner. We've had a couple of big upsets with Brian Campbell and Goddard the last week, 2 weeks. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel. On the comment section, pick who you think is going to win the Open Championship. We do this every single week. The winner does get a free month of Byron's Patreon. You always get that cool shit on there, all the models, all of his bets, all of his live stuff, his showdown plays. You get it all. You get a month of that free. And this week, since no one won the last 2 weeks, the first three people that picked the winning golfer will get Byron's free month. And it's usually more than a free month because Byron doesn't really even check that shit. So
really bad at
it's basically like a membership. You know what I'm saying? It's basically like a free membership until Byron decides to kick you out after the first month. And I don't even think he's done that yet. So there you go. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel, go to our comment section, pick who you think is going to win and a way to get in touch with you. And hopefully you win a free month or more of Byron's Patreon. Byron.
Oh, yes, Kenny. So last week was the Scottish. It was a great week of golf. Always Rory finding himself right in the mix. Couldn't get it done. Chris got her up. I think I looked it up. The last 3 times Rory was either in the lead or within 3 of the lead, he won. And that includes some DP World Tour stuff. So whenever he's had a taste of victory, he's gobbled that up. Chris got her up a little too chunky to eat with a full mouth, and I think it was kind of interesting to watch him just box him out, man, all Sunday.
Yeah, I gotta say, got her beating Rory toe-to-toe, head-to-head. Same group, same pairing. One of the more impressive things that I've seen on the PGA Tour this season. The funniest thing is, it might not even have been in the top 3 most impressive things that I saw yesterday in golf. That's how good the fucking golf was Sunday. What a spectacular day to watch golf. Before we go on to any of the other ones, let's finish up on the Scottish. Goddard going out there. Like I said, toe-to-toe, head-to-head. The whole crowd against him. I wouldn't say it was like they were being mean or anything, but everybody was cheering for Rory. Everybody wanted Rory to win. I'm sure there were a few drunk Brits or drunk Scots out there, getting in Goddard's ear, but they tend to be a little bit better than that than the people on our side of the pond. Though, I've seen some stuff at Ryder Cups on both sides that maybe equal out. Either way,
PGA Tour account, the PGA Tour account on X really wanted Rory to win. It was just kept on coming up. Anytime Rory would do something, it would be like notification.
Well, here's the thing: it's not even like Goddard was just going head to head against Rory. He actually got put on the clock on the 14th hole, like 4 holes left to play, and they put Goddard up on the clock. Yes. He was playing slow. But, again, he is trying to get a win against Rory McIlroy with Rory in the final group on a course he's never played before. I get it. I mean, he was playing slow. But the mess, and so they put him on the clock. I think overall, that's a good thing, right? But the crazy thing is they were taken off the clock in exactly 1 hole. Like, they caught up to the next group in 1 hole. So was it really necessary to put him on the clock when they just needed to speed up just a little bit and they caught up within a hole to the group in front of them. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there, right? That are saying, the PGA Tour, they want Rory to win. I don't think that's what happened, but it definitely put the ammo out there for the conspiracy theorists, right? To have their say. When it came down to it. And the thing is, like, to go over that, to beat Rory in that manner with all the stuff that's going on around, and to shoot a 66. I mean, 6 under 66 in the final round when you're in the lead with Rory. Really impressive by Goddard. Really showed his stones out there. I thought his short game looked pretty good. Really, really impressive stuff by him. Fitzy did well. That was my place.
Cash that each way, baby. Yeah,
cashed the each way with the Fitzy. I actually bet Justin Rose 225-1 with 4 places on Saturday morning. He missed by 1 stroke, which sucks because the issue is when I placed that bet, the next 3 holes he bogeyed 3 holes in a row.
So
literally just bogeyed
that you could have got
3 holes. Like, he could have won. If I didn't bet him, probably it's possible that he could have won. The event, because he looked really strong. I also bet Hovland 500-1 with 4 places on Saturday morning, and he was inside the top 5 with 6 holes left to play.
And then he made that egregious double. That's Hovland's biggest problem right now. He's just randomly missing a 4-footer for double bogey.
Not as bad as Oberg. Oberg is the one who, like, once around, he just loses focus. And the crazy thing about that is, as I've gotten better at playing the game of golf, I realize how hard it must be for these golfers to be able to keep focus every hole for 72 holes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you lose focus for like 1 second, and you could fuck up your whole tournament, your whole round. I'll give you an example. I played this past Saturday. I just, after my 79 the week before, I went back out this Saturday. Shot 84, pretty good. Had 9 pars, played well. But on 17, I'm going into that hole. I need birdie, which is unlikely, to shoot 79 again. But I have a little bit of confidence because the last time I played 17, I almost eagled it. So a little bit overconfident. I go out there and lose a little bit of focus, and I triple bogey the hole. And like with the elements, like if it's raining, if it's windy, if you didn't get good sleep last night, like to be able
if your girlfriend's being a bitch,
where a wife is, you have problems at home with the family, like to be able to keep focus for every single hole is almost like impossible. Like, even if you are a professional golfer, right? It just seems like it's so difficult. And for Goddard to do what he did was really impressive. But you see these like lapses, especially in like a lot of younger guys like a Hovland, like an Oberg, who haven't trained their minds enough. I mean, even Rory does it. Rory, we've seen Rory do it. Even the best. So I think that's why these guys are pros when it comes down to it, because they're able to get the mental aspect down. And, I always knew that the mental aspect was a big deal. But like, as you start playing better golf yourself, you realize like, whoa, this is crazy hard to be able to focus because now, I have my own pre-shot routine. I have specific things that I do on every hole. And like, it's difficult, man. It's hard. So I give the younger guys a pass. I think Oberg would be able to get past it at some point in time. But other guys that played well, Penge.
Kenny, sorry, on Oberg, I pulled his stuff up for 2025. This year, he's losing strokes. He's losing 3/4 of a stroke in the 10 rounds he's played on Saturday. That doesn't include last week, where he bombed out again. He's got a Saturday problem, and then he bounces back on a Sunday and gains 1.7 strokes on average in the 10 rounds. So between those 20 rounds, 10 of them are like 2.5 strokes better than the other, because he just something happens, man. These golfers are so, like, when I do showdown stuff every week, you notice why is Scotty Scheffler's like strokes gained average on a Saturday lower than Tristan Lawrence or something like that? Like, for example, it's these golfers have these trends that they just, on a specific day of the week, they don't play great. If it's right before the cut, or if it's the first round of a tournament, or the first day of a weekend, they just do weird shit, and it happens all the time. Like when I was in college, I would always start off slow. My first round was always my worst round. If I was playing a three-round tournament or 2-round tournament, I'm always fighting back on the back nine. Mm-hmm. That's my trend. I know that's the case.
So I know the big bet, the big betting day will be the first day we play. Then thank you when we play together in Iowa.
I've changed though. Since getting into the analytics, I now understand. I've been too tentative to start rounds at golf. Oh, I'm going to dominate you bitches so hard when you come over here.
You're a fucking college golfer. Of course you are.
We're going to handicap. We'll get ourselves handicaps.
I've dropped to a 13.9. I was 17.9 7 rounds ago.
That's awesome, Ken.
I have dropped.
Keep going, baby. You're going to be the same as me by the time you get here.
I'm a 34.2, baby. Yeah.
Here's the thing: when your handicap is that high, it's really easy to bring down.
Yeah,
exactly. You will go down a lot. In the next year,
once you leave,
you'll be inside 20.
Yeah, which is what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming by the end of this year to break 100. That's my goal, and I've shot a 105. Right. So I'm right.
Oh, so you've been clear. You've been close.
I'm right.
Yeah. There. So my new goal is to get 12 pars or better. That's my next goal in a round.
Yeah. Nice. I'm still trying to break par. I played 9 holes the other day on Thursday, and I hit 8 greens and I made 9 pars. It was it's like, I don't know what the hell happened, man. I was so frustrated because I couldn't make a putt, but it is what it is. But you land up hitting too far away from the hole sometimes. Anyway, yes, let's get back to
more about the Scottish. Rory went out, did his thing. It's not like he played horribly. He went out there and shot 70 on Sunday. Not his best round, or what did he shoot? 69, I think.
62 under par, whatever that is. Yeah.
Under par, and then got up, shot 4 under par. So he shot 68 or 7, not 66, like I said. But Højgaard with a big Sunday. Nikolai actually getting in with his brother. We feel really bad for Jake Knapp, who had the driver's seat to be one of the top 3 to get into the Open Championship. I think I might have messed with him too, because I was talking to his girlfriend online or on X, and we were talking about she made a post about the wags fighting each other. She's friends with Patrick's wife.
Explain what wags are, Kenny.
Wives and girlfriends. And so she was talking about next week, because he was in position to make the Open Championship, that her and Fitzy's wife were really good friends and they were going to fight. Right. And I was like, you know what? If there was Wags Royal Rumble at the Open Championship, it would get ratings, right? It would get ratings. And then she replied to me. We chatted for a little bit, and then he just fucking hit the bomb. After we had this conversation, he went 4
God
over.
Damn it, Kenny.
I think he went 4 or 5 over on the back 9.
My God.
To lose, it was him and Schmid, and if he tied with Schmid, I think he would have made it at 6 under, and I think he bogeyed his last hole. To get to
4 over
-5, I think -6 would have gotten him in to the Open Championship. So McKenna, or whatever the hell your name is, I apologize. Jake, now.
She doesn't watch
that.
This.
But Højgaard, Rosie, of course, he made the move with the big old 7 under. Straka looked good. Xander, he got my top 20 on ProphetX. If you use that on ProphetX last week, I got plus 120. I tried for plus 140. It didn't work. I think the number was plus 105 on most books. So I still got a nice little boost on ProphetX. And I have 3 different ProphetX plays for this week. So we should make sure you tune in for that. But yeah, I thought your boy Bez played well. Somebody that I'm looking for maybe this week. Pendy played well. That guy Rattan, the other Norwegian, out there, he's coming in strong. I mean, it was a fun little tournament. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thought Goddard impressed the fuck out of me. He really, really did.
Yeah, and I've been talking shit, not shit, but like, why is Chris Price at $8,900 for the John Deere Classic? Then he finishes like backdoors at top 20 or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Turns out I was completely wrong on this dude. Like, he's a baller, and he's found a new gear, Kenny. And golfers these dudes are so good that they're always playing so close to each other that if you just one mental thing clicks in your head or one swing thought clicks in your head, you can go from being mediocre to Chris Goddard winning the Scottish Open in any given period of time. Like, their talents are so close together that all it takes is just a bit of confidence. And man, I ate some crow there for sure. But very excited for Rosie. We'll get into some Justin Rose talk here later on in the show. I'm very bullish on
I got
him.
a matchup for you. I got a matchup for you.
We're
going to go for it. We'll talk about that when we go on to the ProphetX segment. But a couple of other things that happened in golf. I mean, the Gooch won, Live, whatever. Rom played well, whatever. The one guy sort of impressed me, Cameron Smith. We'll talk about him a little bit. Your boy. And I think Byron might be. There we go. He's back. I think it's my internet is fucking up again, but we'll see if we can get that fixed. But here's the thing. I
cannot do another hotspot episode.
He looks pretty good. Okay, all right. Well, I think it's me, so I think we should be fine. Now, the other two, I think there were three more impressive rounds to Goddard last week. William Mao, 7 back, shooting a 61 to get his first tour win at the ISCO Championship. That was fucking crazy. Neil Shipley, 7 back.
7 back.
Going into the final round of the Korn Ferry Tour. Comes back and wins that event. 2 guys that were 7 back came back to win. I think Mao was 750-1 to start Sunday. 750-1.
Incredible.
To start Sunday. But the thing is, though Goddard, Mao, and Shipley weren't even the best thing that I saw. The Avion Championship, Grace Kim. I have to say, it could be recency bias, but I tried to think of like any other majors where I saw something like what she did. She was 4 back with 4 to play. When she was on 15, she had a 0.03% chance of winning.
1 in 3,000, basically.
0.03 chance of winning.
3 in 1,000.
She goes birdie, par. And so she's 2 back going into 18. She hits a nice drive. And then right behind her is Pinnacle. Or I don't know how you pronounce her name, but she was on the tee on 18. When she stepped on the tee, she had a 98.3% chance of winning. Right? 98.3. Grace Kim hits like 190-yard, 5 hybrid, I think, to a foot. Right?
Stunning.
Eagle to tie. And Pinnacle sort of messes up that par 5. Gets the par, goes to a playoff. In the playoff, Grace second shot in the penalty. So you think it's over, right? Pinnacle is easy. She lays up, after she sees Grace hit it into the fucking water, right? And then, she hits it to about 15 feet. 15 feet for birdie, for Pinnacle. Right? Nice layup, nice approach, especially when your guy is hitting it into the fucking water. So Grace has to drop, is laying 3. Basically, she has to make it. Like, she has to make this shot, right? To go. Because I think Pinnacle's actually, it was sick. And she makes the chip from off the green, at least 30 yards, to stay alive in the playoff because Lindeque ended up making birdie.
Jesus.
Right? Just to stay alive. And then she, I think she comes back. I don't know if she won that hole, but she ended up winning that event. I don't know if she won with the eagle or no, she won with an eagle on the. So they played 18 again, right? And she hits it to about 12 feet on her approach, stuffs the eagle to win. So she was like 7 under on her last
the final
6 holes. If you count, the playoff holes.
The playoffs.
Like I can't think of any other situation in a major where someone has done something like that. Like in a playoff, the hole out from off the green just to stay alive. Just to stay alive. One of the most impressive things I've seen on a golf course, maybe in my life. If you guys are watching these women play, I mean, these girls are fucking ballers now. That was so fucking impressive. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Kenny, the only things I can think of are like at Augusta where Charles Schwartzel birdied 5 of the last 6. But
yes.
Like, it gets close. That gets close.
Yes.
It's not even.
Yes.
You need to be under par on. You're playing better than birdie golf on those final couple holes is absurd. What Rosie did to get in the playoff with Rory, kind of the back nine at Augusta gives a lot of opportunities like that, but no one's gone 7 under through 6. Like
and
that's
then,
just.
I mean, like I've never seen a playoff in a major where like she holds out to save her life. I mean, I guess Ryan Fox, a few weeks ago when he chipped in to win. I guess that's one. Nick Taylor, 55-foot bomb, but those weren't majors, right?
No.
Those weren't majors. Those might have been just as impressive, but it wasn't at a major. So kudos
JJ
to
Spawn
Grace
did
Kim.
it, but he had a 2-shot lead. Like he just needed a 2-putt, and he made the bomb. I don't know. That's incredible. I don't think you can rival it. Like to go 7 deep over 6 is absurd.
Yeah.
Granted, you are playing a par 5 like 3 or 4 times, but
still insane.
Insane. Anything else, Kenny, before we get into the Open Championship?
No, let's just go to the Open, man.
Let's go.
A big week, so let's get into it. Let's get to the course for this week. The best golfers in the world head to Northern Ireland to play the Open Championship from Royal Portrush Golf Club. Second time this event has hosted an Open Championship since 1951. It hosted one in 1951. I don't think anyone played that. That's in the field this week. I think that we did play again. They did play this in 2019, of course, when Shane Lowry won. That's the most recent Open Championship that they played there. They played like the 2012 Irish Open. Luke Donald won, I think, or Jamie Donaldson won. So you're looking at like Jamie Donaldson, Shane Lowry. You know what I'm saying? Sort of accurate off the tee guys who are really, really good around the green. I think especially with the way the course is set up now, and we'll go over this a little bit more. I think it really takes the Bombers' advantage away. I think unless the guy's out there hitting Rory shit and hitting the middle of the green, I think there's too much risk to pound driver on a lot of these holes. There are some golfers with experience at this course outside of the guys that played in 2019. McIlroy, of course, famously shot a 61 here when he was 16. And Graham McDowell, I don't even know if he's in the field. He's a member. He's from the area. Tom McKibben on Live. Member of this course. We also have Koepka's caddy, right? He's a member here, right? Even though the course is unknown, it's sort of unknown, we still have an idea of what we are looking for, especially looking at the leaderboards in the past. But let's actually get to the meat of the course. Royal Portrush is a 7,300 to 400 yard par 71 with 3 par 5s and 4 par 3s. One of the par 5s is shorter and reachable by all, while the other 2 are a bit longer. Now, the reason I say 7,300 to 7,400, it could even go down to 7,200. It's because the actual playing yards of each hole could vary due to the wind. as a classical seaside links course, weather will most likely play a huge factor in the outcome of the event. And for DFS players waiting until the last minute to fill out your lineups, probably a good idea. And your bets. Now, did I take that, advice? No, because, I got to tell you guys who I'm looking at. So I made my bets. But, if I see some crazy weather wave advantages, because we've seen them at the Open Championship where, there's been some wild wave advantages. I will adjust my card, cash out, do whatever. Okay. Now, let's see where I was. Off the tee, golfers are going to see average size fairways, maybe even pretty narrow fairways, comparatively. Off the tee. Unlike most courses, here's the thing though. Unlike most courses in the Open Rota, Royal Portrush is a bit more lush. And some golfers have said even in bone dry conditions, you don't get the firmness and speed on the fairways like other open courses, or just like last week we saw in Scotland, where it was pretty damn baked down, right? Now, it looks like it's going to be a rainy week. So the massive rollout on tee shots we saw at the Open recently and last week in Scotland, I don't think are going to come into play. The rain is also going to make the rough very lush and thick, and it's going to be important to hit fairways. Mike Kim did his Open Diaries, and he talked about the rough. And the rough, even though it's not like necessarily super thick, it's not really like manicured. It's not like American rough. Like you got like bushes, and you got like flowers, and you got, speaking of crazy shit, the ants on Thinnacle's ball.
The fire ants.
The fire ants. That shit was crazy too. It was such a wild, that last 30 minutes of that fucking tournament was some of the craziest golf I think I've ever seen in my life. Like when you saw her ball, there was like billions of ants just fucking crawling all over. And she asked for a drop, and they were like, nope, no drop. Kill the fire ants. Okay, anyways, I'm losing track. But okay, so here's the thing. Like, you gotta hit these fairways. And that's why I think outside of the par fives and maybe some wider fairways that they have, because not all fairways are equal here, I mean, it's going to be a lot of less than driving, which is going to make this course longer, and it's going to make the long iron play more important, and it's going to make short game play more important. But there's different avenues to the short game. There's a certain place that you cannot miss on this course when it comes to your approach, and we'll get on there. Now, Portrush only has about 60 bunkers, which is much less than what we've seen at Open Championships in the past. But most of these bunkers are strategically placed in the landing zones off the tee and around the greens. Even though there's like less bunkers, it's not like it makes it easier, right? There's like a 2-story bunker wall here. Like, I don't know what hole it is, but I saw it. It's literally, the wall's literally like 18 feet tall, right? Like you have to play backwards or sideways if you hit it into that bunker. Like literally, it's a 2-story high lip. So people are basically fucked if they land in that.
If you're scared of heights, you're in trouble as well.
Yeah, I know. There's a ton of mounds and undulations on the fairway, so golfers might have to hit their approaches with uneven stances. There's, again, a large risk-reward aspect off the tee, and I think a lot of people aren't going to go for that risk. I mean, it's possible, but I think the way the course is set up, it's going to be hard. But like, here's some examples of where like risk-reward would help. Like the 18th hole. The aggressive play would be driver, which would lead to a short iron approach onto an elevated green, but OB is very close to the right side of the fairway. If golfers go conservative, it's going to lead to like a long iron, blind, uphill approach, impossible to make birdie. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're one back, you're probably hitting driver, right? And the thing is, if you're in the lead, you're probably hitting hybrid, right? Here's the thing. If you hit it driver and you hit the fairway, you're looking at a very, very good birdie chance, because it's short iron onto the green, easily seen. If you hit that hybrid, you're hitting straight uphill. Don't even know where the fucking flag is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to pick your spots to be aggressive. And at some point in time on Sunday, you're not going to have any choice if you're down. And that's when the fun should happen, right? When we get to Sunday here. You can also look at the first hole, right? The first hole is like fucking impossible, right? It's like the hardest fucking first hole I've seen like at a major, and I don't even know. Like, because the fairway is so narrow, and there's OB like 10 feet to the right of the fairway on the right, 10 yards on the fairway on the left. Like, if you fuck that shit up, people are going to be hitting less than driver on that. I don't see a point to nuke it. But like,
Rory made a quad in his very first hole in 2019. He made 8 on that hole with an iron in his hand.
Yeah. Like, if you like that hole, if you don't come, see, I come in raw usually when I play. Like, I've been playing like no range, no putting, you know what I'm saying, just stretching. That shit probably not gonna work if I can play that hole. Because, I mean, it's like the hardest drive that I've seen for a first drive. Like, you could literally lose a tournament.
Yes,
like,
he did.
Almost.
He
did. Like, you can literally lose the tournament on your first fucking tee shot on this course. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, let me move on. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So now here's the thing on approach shots. Golfers are going to see a wide array of green sides that are elevated. You don't really see like elevated greens at Open Championships. It's not like a normal thing. And here's where you cannot miss, especially if you're Victor Hovland, who is my pick to win. But if you're Victor Hovland,
Christ, Kenny, cat's out the bag.
If you're Victor Hovland or anybody, you cannot miss short on this course, on any of the greens. Because here's the thing. The greens are all mound elevated, like crowned, right? And so
turtlebacks.
And the roll-off area in the front is massive on a lot of holes, like 20, 30 feet like uphill, right? And it's all going to be that short, tight grass that Victor fucking needs to avoid. Right? That's the shit he needs to avoid. So guys like him, they cannot miss short, because that is going to be the most difficult chip that you can do. If you miss right, if you miss left, and you don't get into a bunker, or even if you miss it deep and you're not in a bunker, they have the fairway roll-off areas, but because the greens are elevated and curved, it rolls into the longer grass. And the grass around there, from what I've seen, is not like the rough grass. It's a little bit shorter, right? But it's still not tight, right? You got a little bit of wiggle room there, and that's the type of shit that Hovland likes. And so I'm like, please, Victor, do not miss short. And the good thing is, his iron game's been so good, he hasn't really been missing too many greens. So I'm going based on that. But you don't really see that at an open event. And so, it's actually a lot harder to play the ground game. You're going to see a lot of the ground game, but to judge that with that elevated greens and in the slope that it has in the runoff areas in front, to judge the right pace is even more difficult than it normally is at an Open Championship. And so I really do think the golfers are going to club down. I don't think the big dog is going to eat this week. And if it does, if someone goes out there and is a lunatic and is hitting every fucking drive right down the middle, like a Rory McIlroy could do, right? Like a Rory McIlroy could do, dudes like that could win by like what Shane Lowry did, even though he wasn't hitting it long. They could win by 6 strokes, I think. If there is anyone that has the balls enough to do it, I don't think there will be. I don't think there will be. Now, let's see, where was I? I lost my place. The elevated greens, again, something we don't really see at these events. Again, the greens are very undulating with many mounds and contours. The grass is mostly fescue with a bit of POA. The stimulator rating normally slow, like 10 or under, is what we normally see at the Open Championship. Byron, what are you looking for in golfers this week?
All right, Kenny. Here is the screen, sharing it with you guys now. This is the Open Champion. Am I sharing it, Mike? Yes, beautiful. So this is Portrush in 2019. And as you can see, we've got Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, Lee Westwood, Ricky Fowler, Bobby Mack, Tyrrell Hatton, Patrick Reed, Francesco Molinari. That's some of the guys inside the top 10. All plotters, all guys that kind of just keep their ball in front of them. Brooksy, fantastic in majors. He's course management phenomenal. I think you're going to be looking for guys to just keep your shit under control for 72 holes. Like it's basically Oakmont, but not nearly as hard. I think you got to keep your shit under control. Don't hit the ball out of bounds. Like hitting a golf ball out of bounds is going to cost you significantly here. So you can find this in the Model Mania.
There's a shit ton of OB here.
So much OB. You got to keep your stuff in play. So that's what you got to be careful of. Okay, so when it comes to majors, in the Masters, the PGA Championship, the US Open, and the Open Championship, I've always had this rule where I only bet someone if they've had a second place finish or better in a major before. So you have to have one or finish second in a major. If you're taking a look at the Open Championship, 12 of the last winners have had a second or a win in a major before that. And it's the best out of any track record, even the Masters included. There was a couple fourth places, sixth places in the mix there for the Masters. The Open Championship is a pedigreed golf tournament, people. You have to be a tournament veteran, a experienced wily fox, someone that knows how to contend in majors. Second place or bust in the Open Championship if you want to win this thing in a prior major finish. Taking a look at the US Open over here, look at 23rd, JJ Spahn didn't have any major pedigree. You could just win that bad boy. But we don't have any of that going on yet. Kenny, I see you want to say something.
I do. I just want to add to your point about this. Like when we look at the leaderboards for like the last 5 or 6, it's all big name players in the top 10. Like let's look at last year: Xander, Justin Rose, Billy Horschel, Henley, Lowry, Rahm, Sungjae, Scheffler. That's your top 10. The only outlier was Tristan Lawrence, who finished 4th. Right? You look at the year before in 2023. The guys in the top 10, Brian Harmon, we'll talk about him. He was an outlier, but we'll talk about that. Tom Kim, a little bit of an outlier too. Sepp Straka, that year was a little bit different. But you got Jason Day, John Rahm, Rory, Cam Young, Homa, Fleetwood, Decky, all in that top 13 mix. You got, you got Shubhanka Sharma as your one real outlier. And I guess Harmon, Tom Kim, and Sepp are outliers at that point in time, but they ended up becoming really, really solid PGA players, right? You know what I'm saying? And you look at 2022, all right? You look at the winners there. Cam Smith, Cameron Young once again, Rory, Fleetwood, Hovland, Harmon once again, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay, Jordan Spieth. A lot of chalk, a lot of top guys in this. When it comes to these top 10s finishes the last 4 or 5 years. So if you're looking for an outlier, it's tough, bro. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
I think, like you're saying, you go with like reputable guys who have done it before, or known names, known commodities, have usually been up in the top 10. Keep going, Byron.
Beautiful. So to get back to a little more about some trends going into the Open Championship, here are the best finishes in an Open Championship prior to that guy winning the Open Championship. So we've obviously got Colin Morikawa, who won in his debut. Cam Smith won it at St. Andrews, which I don't think is a stereotypical Open Championship track anyway. It's a bit of a more forgiving venue. He had a 20th place finish in 2019 as his best Open finish before winning it. And then Louis Oosthuizen hadn't had any finish better than a miscut in the Open Championship all the way back in 2010. Every other dude, 11 of the 14, had a top 10 in the Open Championship prior to that. So those are my 2 criteria. I'm looking for you to have a second place finish in a major, and I'm looking for you to have a top 10 in the Open Championship. And these are the names. I'll just leave it over here. These are the names that check both of those boxes. So we've got, I'm not going to rattle everyone off, but I've also done a thing where I check some boxes in my model, and I say, okay, go ahead, Kenny, what's up?
For the people listening on the pod, let's go ahead and name these off. So we've got Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland, Bryson, Cam Young, Usti, Day, Rose, Cam Smith, Bobby Mack, Straka. When did Straka finish second in a major?
Last year.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's right. The year Cam won, I think. You're right. Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon's one. He won. He finished second, I think.
That's it. That's it. Sepp Straka, Brian Harmon, Brooks Koepka, Tom Kim. That's like the 15 or so golfers that fit this trend.
18 names. Those are the boys. So I will not be going anywhere in any outright market without a name on that list. That, to me, that's the list that has the winner on it. This is going back to 2018 in the Open Championships and then 2021 in majors. So if you haven't finished second in a major before that, but you have prior, you're not going to make the list. I'm looking for recent good finishes in majors. So that's my blueprint for these majors, Kenny. It's been pretty predictable. We saw the US Open go completely rogue with JJ Spahn. That's why we didn't kind of hone in on that second place situation. This week, a second place person who's finished second or first in a major will win this week again, likely, if history repeats itself. So I'm not even looking at course-specific stuff. That's going to be like tiebreaker to me. I just want you to have pedigree, baby, in Open Championships. I want you to know how to play in majors, and you have to have played in the Open, and finished top 10.
And my stat model is a lot lighter than most. I'm looking at it less because, this is links golf. It's totally different, right? I mean, like, you can't judge. Stats are just not as important this week, right? It's how you've played, at links golf in the past. It's your current form. It's how good you are. I mean, the main things that I would look at is around the green play and probably bogey avoidance, right? I mean, like, those are like two of the more important things that I'm looking for. And those a lot of the time aren't even in the top 3 or 4 stuff that you're looking for at like a typical PGA Tour event, right? So it's definitely a lot different. Let's move on to our ProphetX segment for today. Make sure you go to ProphetX, use promo code FG Degenerates, get yourself 1.5% back on all your winning transactions, your first 30 winning transactions. So it's basically like you're not paying, the juice, basically, for your first 30 is what it comes down to.
And a small amount of juice that you're only having to pay.
Yeah, they're only taking like 1.5% to 3%. I think it's like 3% is what they take for each winning play. So you get half off of the juice when you join for your first 30 little plays. And so I have 3 plays this week for ProphetX. They're all going to be top 20s. I did hit the Xander top 20 last week, and I'm going back to Xander once again. He's plus 105 at most other books for a top 20, including ties. I'm putting him on like plus 140 right now. I'll go down all the way to plus 115 if I can't find a match as the week goes on. Next one, it's going to be Victor Hovland, top 20. Most books have that around plus 105, plus 115 is what you're seeing at most books, including ties for his top 20. I'm going to start at plus 150. I'll go down all the way to plus 125. Finally, I'm going Russell Henley, top 20, including ties. You're seeing him around plus 210 at most books. I'm trying plus 250 right now, but I'll go down to probably plus 220, plus 225 for him. So those are going to be my 3 ProphetX plays for this week, all top 20s. It's going to be Xander, Hovland, and Henley, all of the plus money.
Beautiful. I'm going to be rolling out Jon Rahm top 10, Kenny. If you take a look at what he's been up to in the last couple starts for Jon Rahm, it's been sensational when it comes to his overall Open track record. He finished 7th, 2nd, 34th, 3rd, and 11th. So basically 4 of his last 5 Open Championships have been in 11th or better. The one was at St. Andrews when I think he was leaving to live that year. It was like a total disaster for him. Wasn't playing good golf, right? So
the 11th was his best Open finish at that point in time, and that was at Portrush.
At Portrush, exactly. So he's got some solid track record around here. So give me a top 10, and you can find a top 10 on Jon Rahm at +1. I put a +150 out there. I'm waiting for that to get nibbled on. There's +130s, at other books. So I'm biding my time over there. And then I just put out a +175 for Justin Thomas to miss the cut here at the Open Championship. And when I say why, Justin Thomas has been putrid. Go ahead.
Well, let's say to miss the cut would be top. What would be a top 20? No, correct?
No, there's just a miss the cut. Like just
there's a miss the cut.
There's a to make the cut. You just say no.
So I didn't even see that on ProphetX. There's a to make the cut grouping. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I went, what you go and do is you go look at the other books, figure out what numbers are out there, and then you just toss 20 points. If it's especially like early on a Monday, Tuesday morning, throw like 20, 30 points on top of that number. See if someone nibbles out there. If not, you keep reducing it over the week and until maybe you have to settle for market numbers. But usually you're going to be finding a few points of value along the way. And that's the whole point of this. And even if you have the same number as other books, you get it like the juice is just not waxing you every single time. So just kind of bear that in mind. So JT, if we're taking a look at his last couple starts in majors, he missed the cut at the US Open, missed the cut at the PGA Championship. So he hasn't made 2 of his last major starts. And then missed the cut at the Masters in 2024 and missed the cut at the US Open in 2024. So he just misses cuts in majors. Now he has made 3 of the last 4 of the last 5 Open Championship cuts, but they haven't been good. Has multiple missed cuts in majors in the Open as well. So JT in the last couple years hasn't had a finish better than 31st. And that was last year at Troon in an Open Championship. So, maybe if you want to say no on a top 20 for JT, you're going to have to lay some juice. But I think that's also a great way, probably a little safer too, because again, that was his 4th week last week at the Renaissance Club. T22 still has not had a 20th place or better at the Renaissance Club. Never mind any other links tracks. So I'm out on Justin Thomas entirely in majors and particularly at links golf courses where there's out of bounds everywhere. Yeah. He's not good off the tee. So it could be a big problem for him. We shall see. So those are my 2 play ProphetX plays. I'll have a couple more for you guys on my show tomorrow night. Probably by the time you're listening to us, I'm actually doing a 7 a.m. show with Ben Coley and Sam Harrop. I got the 2 boys from Sliced. The only way I could get them on was to have a tea with them in the morning because they have to get busy going on in the afternoon. So it's going to be a 7 o'clock show. I don't know if I might even make it for my own show in the morning, but we'll see.
Here's the thing. Ben Coley was a guest on our 2019 Open Championship show, and he picked Shane Lowry to win.
Incredible. Okay.
So Ben Coley was on our show. So you should definitely watch Byron's show tomorrow. See who Ben wants and probably go in that direction because it has worked before for this fantasy golf degenerates in the past.
Let's go.
Okay. He was on the 2019 show with me and Tambo, and he picked Shane Lowry to win the event. And Shane Lowry was coming in with 4 straight miscuts at the Open Championship.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a great pick then, Kenny. So yes, guys, be sure to tune in. Back 9 bets, 7 Eastern in the morning, 8 Eastern in the morning, 7 o'clock Central Time. Just watch the replay. I don't think anyone's going to be there live. So it's just going to be one of those situations, but it'll be up. Going to be great chatting to the boys. And let's get into some bets, Kenny, for this week. You go ahead.
All right, let's go to our kickback golf betting segment. Use promo code FGD15. Save yourself 15% on all their cool merchandise and gear. You can see it if you're watching on YouTube. All the cool stuff that they have right now. Their jerseys, their baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys with the golfer's name on the back. Their college they went to or the country they're from, or the major that they won, and their score. Pretty cool stuff. Make sure you go to kickbackgolf.com. Use promo code FGB15 15. I'm going to go ahead and get started for this week. One disclaimer. I have my card filled out. If there's some type of weather advantage, I'm going to change this. So make sure you check the final card on my X feed at Kendo VT sometime probably Wednesday late afternoon. But my first bet is going to be Jon Rahm, 12-1 win only. Okay. Like I said, finished 11th. We talked about this, finished 11th in 2019. Since then, 3rd, 34th, 2nd, and 7th at the Open, 1st in greens and regulation on live, 3rd in scrambling on live, always known to be long and somewhat accurate. He is off the tee. He's not necessarily, super loopy off the tee. And I do expect him to, with his length, to club down a lot and get more accuracy off the tee. A great performance last week at Valderrama, finishing in 2nd. I thought it was really cool. He made like a 30-footer for par on the last to actually give himself a chance for Taylor Gooch to win. And I think he parred the last hole to win. He got the contention monkey right off of his back at the PGA Championship in the lead in the back 9 at a major championship. He was finally there after about a year and a half of not being there. He did finish top 10, even though it's a backdoor top 10 at the U.S. Open, right? So I'm going to go ahead. Jon Rahm and the next golfer are literally the two guys that I think are going to win. My next golfer is Viktor Hovland, 28-1 with 8 places. I think one of these two guys is going to do it. I don't have another guy inside of 66-1 other than these two. These are the two guys that I'm focusing on DFS. I don't care if they're chalk. I'm betting them. It doesn't matter. These are the two that I think are going to be on top of the leaderboard when it comes to Sunday. Hovland, I think, is going to win a major soon. Has had success at the Opens with 3 top 15s, including a 4th a couple of years ago in his 4 appearances. Iron game has been impeccable, right? Was great around the green at the U.S. Open. If he doesn't, like I said, we talked about this a little bit earlier. If he doesn't miss the green short, I think he has a really great chance of winning. He just cannot miss these greens short repeatedly. If that happens early on, he's done. Unless some miraculously chipping God blesses him, on the tight lies. So he has a couple of good finishes at Wentworth, which is another course, a Clay designed golf course. Clay, I forget his first name. I think it's Henry. Clay designed Portrush. He also designed Wentworth, and Hovland has a couple of top 5s at that course. Okay, so I love these two guys. These two are my favorite bets. They're my favorite DFS plays. Right behind them, though, is going to be Russell Henley, 66-1 with 8 places. He reminds me of Brian Harman, the year that he won, right? Both Brian Harman and Henley had struggled throughout the majority of their career at the Open Championship. And then out of the blue, Harman gets his first top 10 at an Open Championship on God knows how many tries. The following year, he wins, right? Henley, god-awful at Open Championships. The majority of his career. Finished 5th last year at Troon. I'm hoping that correlation, similar type player, accurate off the tee, iron game strong, around the green game, very, very strong. I love Russell Henley this week, especially at 66-1 with 8 places. And Byron, the matchup that I was going to talk about, since they're similar in odds, actually your guy is better, has lower odds than me. Justin Rose versus Henley.
I can't do that. I can't. I like Henley too much.
Rose is 50-1. Henley's 66-1.
I don't give a shit, Kenny. I'm not going to get hustled into a play I don't want.
Okay, I respect. Here's the thing.
I just met Russell Henley at the US Open last time.
You've been online and saying Rose is going to win. He's your pick for winner. You got him blowing up. You can't go up against Henley for me.
I'll take Rose over Hovland, Kenny.
Okay. That'll work too. So you
I'll
don't like
probably
Hovland?
get not as I prefer Henley over Hovland, man.
Okay.
Just from
I'll take that.
like in a matchup, I want a safer guy. Victor is just TNT, dude. Like you don't know if you're going to blow it out your ass or out your brains. Like one of the ways shit's just going south. But
I think that's strange. But I'll take the Hovland one. I'll take the Hovland matchup. But I your guys, it's probably going to be like plus 175 on your side, probably, right?
Let me keep looking. We'll think as we go through. Yeah, keep rocking and rolling.
Sounds good. Now, but I do love Russell Henley this week. Next is another guy.
Me too.
I absolutely love this week. Patrick Reed, 75-1 with 8 places. He had his best Open finish here in 2019. That was his only top 10 that he's had at the Open Championship. He won 3 weeks ago on Live, was in contention going into Sunday at Valderrama, scrambling always solid, 68% green and regulation percentage on Live. That'd be top 40, top 45 on the PGA Tour this season. Here's the thing. The guy is playing for his Ryder Cup life. The only way he can make the team is if he wins the Open Championship. He knows that. And I think instead of that weighing him down, like a lot of mental midgets who out there, playing golf, I think that's going to bring him up. And because he wants to play in that Ryder Cup. I believe in that narrative. I really, really like Patrick Reed this week, especially at 75-1 with 8 places. Okay. Koepka is my forced bet. Like I said, you guys know, if you've listened to all the majors, I am forced to bet Brooks Koepka at every major for the next 5 years since his win at the 2023 PGA Championship. I'm not really happy that I have to bet this because I have to put $50 in the bankroll on him, but I got him at 75-1. I'll put my $50 on him. Again, the only real thing that looks good is, of course, his caddy is a member at Portrush. I think he finished top 10 here the last time they played at Portrush. And, the 2 finishes prior to his top 10 at Portrush were like 65th and 57th. But again, they were not majors. I think he finished top 5 in every major that season, if I remember correctly, in 2019. So whatever, I have to make the bet. I'm making the bet. It's a part of my call.
2019, Kenny. 2nd at the Masters, 1st at the PGA, 2nd at the US Open, 4th at the Open Championship.
Yeah. So
top 4 in every single major. Wow.
Definitely playing a little bit better than he is at this point in time. So whatever, I have to play it. So we'll go ahead and put it down. I might cash that out and wait till it drifts to like 100. Because it's possible. Because ain't no one going to be putting money on Koepka this week.
He's $100 more expensive than Russell Henley. Like in a major.
Yeah.
DFS price
wise.
Right.
And then I got like 3 huge bombs. Right. These are all just like form plays. Marcos Penge, 100-1, 8 places. Playing good golf. With like 5 straight top 30s, including a 2nd and 11th in his last 2 starts. I'm trying to ride a hot hand with this one. Finished runner-up tied with Rory last week at the Scotch. 100-1, 8 places. Next, it's going to be Taylor Pendrith. 140-1 with 8 places. Been very, very good around the greens recently. Has seen some spike putting weeks as well. 5 top 30s in his last 3 events, including a 13th last week in Scotland. And he finished 5th at the PGA Championship. And then last, it's going to be Rattan. What's his first name? Christopher?
Yeah.
I don't even know. The dude from Norway. Okay. Rattan, 300-1 with 8 places. Riding form like Penge. Once again, last 6 events for this guy. 1st, 2nd, 13th, 46th, 4th, 13th, just last week at the Scottish. I'll take a flyer on a guy with that type of form for 300-1. So the betting card as of now, and again, subject to change if there is weather. John Rahm, win only, 12-1. Hovland, 28-1, 8 places. Henley, 66-1, 8 places. Reed, 75-1, 8 places. Fucking Koepka, 75-1, win only. Marcos Penge, 100-1, 8 places. Pendy, 140-1, 8 places. Rattan, 300-1, 8 places.
Love it, Kenny. I'm going to double down with Jon Rahm. I went with him at the US Open at Oakmont. Tough golf course. You need to keep your ball in the fairway. He drove it well and just forgot how to putt. He missed a 2-foot putt on one of the par fives. Finally found the putter on Sunday. Too late. Like, is this the problem with him though? Like, just finding it too late. He's just not ever close enough to strike. When he's playing in these majors, he's always trying to race from behind. Either way, I'm in. So he's just around enough. So I'm in on the outright, the top 5, the each way there, and then the top 10 as well. I play ProphetX plus 150 for the top 10. What you need is a horse in the race, and Jon Rahm is going to stable up on Sunday. That's likely going to be the case. Rory, far too volatile for me at the top of the board. Scotty can't even jump to him at the price that he's at. Like 5-1.
If Rory was the same number of Rahm, I'd take him.
Yes.
I think if Rory was 9-1, I think I'd take him. Over Rahm.
Yeah, Rory's plus 750, Rahm's 12-1. That's almost double.
Yeah.
You're getting double the value on a guy who's won. How many majors has Rahm won? 2 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, he's a pedigree dog, and I think he's been probably his best major is the Open Championship. Really, how consistent he's been around the Opens at courses that's diabolical. Which is a skill to have to keep yourself in the mix with elements, bad bounces. And I think Happy Rahm that we're seeing now, Kenny, like you've mentioned, he's no longer a Hulk. He's the scientist guy. He's not Hulk smashing shit. He's morphed back into what's Bruce Banner.
Like, right? Even watching him on Live, like since his outing at the PGA Championship, it seemed like there's been sort of a shift. He's not as angry, a lot more smiling, a lot more joking. But I don't think it's taken away from his focus either. So yeah, I'm a big Rahm or Hovland, I think, wins this week.
Yeah, it's the fumes that is like focus, like flooding John's focus is like perfume fumes now. It used to be smoke, like when he couldn't see through the smoke. Now he's just sniffing the fumes that he's seeing, which is good. So you can see clearly, smelling well. Speaking of smelling well, Justin Rose, baby. Stop and smell the roses this week, friends. 75-1 out there. I got an 80, and you can get the top 5 at 11-1 as well with the each ways, with the ties paid in full. Rosie mentioned on the Netflix series, he doesn't give a shit about any other tournaments apart from the Olympics, the Ryder Cup, and majors. That's all. Maybe the Tour Championship, players prefer that way more than we do. But lost to Rory in a playoff at the Masters, just kind of showing up out of nowhere. Now we start to get a 6th place finish. He decided Sunday morning, baby, the Open Championship is next week. Let me go see what's on the tread. Yeah, let's go burn some rubber. And 63, best round of the day on Sunday at the Scottish for Rosie. Love that. 2nd last year at the Open Championship. Lost in the playoff to Rory. So he's got that 2nd wax. He's the US Open champion as well. And he's got great pedigree, top 10 in strokes gained at the Open Championship over the last couple of years. So
I think he's got like 4 or 5 runner-ups in majors throughout his career. I know he lost in a playoff to Sergio, right? Or the Patrick.
Justin Rose in the last, since 2021, he's got 2 second places. Prior to that, probably more. I just have it since 2021, But even then, 2 second places in the last couple of years. That's 1 less than Brooks, 1 less than Rahm, 1 less than Bryson. So he finds himself in the mix a lot more than we think. Also 60-1 first round leader with Rosie. You got to fire a first round leader pending weather. That's a bet that I'm waiting on to see what the weather gets up to. If he gets off in the nice conditions on Thursday, I'll fire it off. Even if it doesn't, maybe the number drifts and you get like a better number. I just need to be in anyway on a first round leader for Rose.
Yeah. Well, one thing about the weather, looking at it now, and this is Monday, it looks like the wind really would only be a factor on Thursday. Again, that could change. We're recording this Monday at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So all that can change. But it looks like Thursday is the day where you could see the highest amount of winds, like gusts up to 25 miles per hour. That's why you should probably wait till Wednesday. to make your bet.
I'm just giving you guys information.
I put these in the card. I'm just, if shit changes, shit changes. I cash out.
Yeah. And for those of you that are new to the Open Championship, this is a tournament. Augusta goes off 1 tee in twosomes all day, but it's only 90-something people playing there. This is 150 people, and I think they go off twosomes, Kenny.
I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I don't know.
But they start, it's like the whole day. They tee,
there's no wave.
There's so much sunlight. Yeah, there's no wave. You're going off of 1 tee. So there can be 6, 7, 8 hours between the first tee and the last tee time, depending on when they're going off. Because there's a lot of daylight out up north there in England.
Yeah, they'll play till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night over there. Yeah.
So bear in mind, guys going off late have to turn that shit around ASAP and go back out early again the following morning. So be careful about that, because you don't want to be playing golf on a links golf course with like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, like at best, which is what these guys will have to do if they're playing late, going off early the following day. So bear that in mind as well. Let's get back to my betting card. Sepp Straka, 55-1, 5 places each way. Kenny, think about second in the Open Championship, right? He's got himself a pedigreed second place finish, and he checks both the boxes with the second place at the Open. Top 10 at the Open, second place in the major, check. Played nicely at the Scottish last week, has won 3 times this year, is a guy that's looking for a win. Maybe it doesn't happen in majors on US soil yet, but if a European gets in contention versus an American, the crowd's going to pick that guy. He's not going to play, maybe Scotty would be the one dude that people would kind of have a half-hearted sentiment towards. Anybody else, I think the Euro is going to take favor there, which is a great benefit to him. 55-1, keep the ball in play, hit the freaking irons. Like you said, the wind's going to be only an issue for one day, really. If the conditions are placid and he can just avoid having to chip, let's go. I love Sepp Straka this week, 55-1. Then I'm going to go with Jason Day, 90-1. Same situation. Second at an Open Championship not too long ago. Starting to find his groove in the last couple starts. He's also a guy that I spoke religiously with Tybo around the John Deere Classic there. We were chatting a lot about Jason Day. Jason is a big fan. Tybo's a big fan of Jason. So I'm going to be following him in that route there. J-Day has got the second place finish in an Open Championship very recently too. I think the same time that Tom Kim 2 years ago got that at Liverpool. So that's going to check that box. And then speaking of Tom Kim, 140-1, 5 places each way. Second place at the Open 2 years ago. Started playing nicely at the Scottish last week. Kind of fell off the board a bit. Has kicked Joe Tesori off the bag. Paul Tesori. I think Joe Tesori is the guy that does the putting.
He's a commentator.
Stuff.
He's a commentator. Joe Tesori is a commentator.
Yeah. Paul Tesori has been kicked off Tom Kim's bag. Joe Tesori still has his job, most likely. So not to spread fake news there, but Paul Tesori didn't think him and Tom Kim were a great fit anyway. Tom's like too young and spontaneous. Anyway, he's got a new caddy. That's all that matters. New caddy vibes. You've seen this stuff happen. New caddies show up. Golfers just feel like... Morikawa. that is beyond the point. Also, we'll chat about him too in the tiers, But I think Tom Kim steps it up in majors, man. Like his whole career, he's actually done okay in majors. 140-1 with 5 places, especially around the Open Championship. He likes links golf quite a lot. No Paul Tesori anchor, whoever's on his bag is just going to let him fly free, baby. So shout out Tom Kim on finishing second at that Open Championship 2 years ago with an ankle that was like Peyton Manning's, just rigid as shit. So those are my guys. Sepp Straka, John Rahm, Justin Rose, Jason Day, Tom Kim. They all have a second place or better in a major. They all have a top 10 at the Open Championship at some point in their career, all playing relatively good golf, given their situations and odds. So
before we move on to the DFS part, one thing I forgot during the beginning of the show, where we're talking about stuff that happened last week, and it just hit my mind. The fight video that we saw.
Bam!
That might have been, if you guys haven't, I'm sure everyone's seen this video by now. It was in Canada. It was in Western Canada. It was a guy who was wasted. He said he was playing 36 holes and they drank way too much. And he started talking shit and they were playing slow. The guys behind him were angry and they started talking shit to each other. What he didn't realize was the guy behind him was a former NHL hockey player.
Not only a hockey player, but he was an enforcer. Like, he was a fucking dude you don't fuck with.
Like, the guy got tossed into a pond, and then when he got out of the pond, literally just got pummeled in the face 14 times. And every time he got punched in the face, the guy yelled, "Bam!" Like, it was incredible. It was like one of the greatest things I've ever seen on a golf course. But the one thing I do want to add about this is I did find out that they were Canadian. And the guy apologized for getting his ass beat. Literally the most Canadian thing I think I've ever heard in my fucking life right there. He apologized out loud to all the world for getting his ass destroyed out there, which I thought was the most fucking Canadian thing ever. Mike, as our lone Canadian out there, like, what did you think? Is that like a normal thing? Like, when somebody gets his ass beat in Canada, do they apologize to the person that beat their ass?
Absolutely, if you were in the wrong, which he admitted he was. Yeah. He said, I had my mouth ran farther than my words, or whatever. And definitely. Like,
I respect that because I have been that guy before. Luckily, I didn't get my ass beat like him. But I ain't going to apologize about that shit if I got my ass beat. I'll tell you that right now. I am hiding. I am changing my name. I'm like, that's not me, dog. That wasn't me. What the fuck? I know it looks like me, but that wasn't me. Because when he had the video, it really didn't even look like the same guy that was out there. That got his ass beat. Anything you want to add to this before we get to DFS? I just had to bring this up because honestly, it was the greatest video I think I've ever seen on a golf course. And then the apology was fucking incredible. Like, it's purely Canadian. What's the drink? Purely sparkling or purely orange juice or whatever the fuck it is. Simply orange juice. That was simply fucking Canadian right there. Incredible.
Simply syrup, baby. I think, people that get in fights, what are you doing? Why? I've never been in a fight in my life.
You're mid-20s and drunk. You'll fight. I'm old as shit now. I'll walk the fuck away. Yeah. Like, my boys know if it's about to go down, I probably left.
Yeah.
I ain't getting my face caved in for nobody. I don't care.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm usually the guy that's trying to diffuse a situation. That's always me. Unless
see, the problem is I probably would instigate it and then leave, and then my friends would be there. Probably what would happen.
Don't have friends like Kenny, people. This is the life.
Well, that's right. One of the reasons why I don't drink very much anymore. I don't think I've had a drink since Toronto. So,
the people are still waiting for that, Kenny. People are pissed off in our comments. They're waiting.
I did it already on Pat made me do it on the Custy pre-show. So if you guys want to hear about some incidences in Toronto and people that I've met, I mostly talked about the people from the Mayo Media Network. It's on the Custy pre-show with me and Aaron Bronsteiner and Pat. We do it every year. It's one of my favorite shows to do. I'll go on to the Mayo Media Network YouTube feed, go down and look for the Custy pre-show. It was hilarious. And Custy went fucking buck wild this year. It was insane. Some of the categories were like, it would be impossible to pick a winner. The only one that is going to win is going to be Stefan, with his card getting stolen 30 minutes after he shakes fucking Cuss' hand. But even that was a little bit close because the guy I think that's going to be in second, I forget his name. But this guy started rewatching all the Cuss corners and like recapping them on X and then fell deaf, almost died. Like, went to the hospital twice. Like, in the middle of watching the Custies. He went to the hospital twice, almost died. Like, some illness that, like, he doesn't even know what the doctors don't even know what the illness was.
Custicidus,
he was ill. He was ill, almost died in the hospital while he was recapping all the Cuss corners. Like, it took him like 4 months because he was in the hospital for like 3 of those months.
You can't make this up, man.
Like, I'm not bullshitting. Like, sanity. Like, this shit to go. Please go listen to the pre-show because, like, he went buck wild this year. That was the only one that was the only topic that wasn't close, in my opinion, with like 3 or 4 things that could have won. And honestly, like, if the guy died, it probably would have beaten Stefan.
Oh my God. And
Stefan came on stage live at the
he did?
Did you
have to Uber there?
Custy Lives in Toronto. No, he found his car, but he was actually like a really nice guy. And then I was talking to him, and he shook Cuss hair. And again, I was like, motherfucker, you play with fire one more time. Like,
you shook it again.
I mean, just say hello from a distance.
Cuss. Like you text him from the other side.
Cuss, what up, dog? What up? Don't touch him. Don't shake his mother. Don't dap and hug him again. No one's heard from him since. No one has heard from Stefan since we were in Toronto. I'm pretty sure someone's reached out, and we have not heard back from Stefan yet. Since he,
you know what?
In all honesty, hand again.
That's on Stefan. You fool me once, shame on you. Shake Cuss hands twice, buddy. May the Lord
here's the thing.
save you.
Last year, I think it was last year before we did the show, Bronstetter was so worried. I guess he had met Cust, or he had something. He had talked to Cust recently for the first time, and he was going on a flight, right? And he hit me and Pat up, and he was like, tell my wife I love her, blah, 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 if shit goes wrong on the flight. And I don't think he was fucking joking. Like, it sounds funny, like at right now, but I'm pretty sure he was dead fucking serious. Like,
oh yeah,
if you've done that show, we've done this show, I think 4 years now in a row, where it's me and Aaron and Pat, and we go over the Custies for the pre-show. And he was I think he was dead fucking serious.
How could you not,
Kenny? Before we went to Montreal, Tim followed me on X. It hadn't been for a long time. Then we had the group chat made. Then Tim followed me. That day, I was busy drafting a baseball team. My computer hit me with the blue screen of death, and I drafted Stefan Diggs, who immediately, as my computer froze, the auto pick was Stefan Diggs, who then ripped his whole fucking Achilles out. So that team was toast. My computer was the balloon screen of death. I had to restart the entire computer. Dude, the man is a virus. Even his digital fingerprint will corrupt your shit. So be careful when touching that human. I have a video of me and him recapping a Jets situation on my phone from a dinner one night, a 2.5-minute video that I haven't deleted, but I haven't posted yet. And I think it's causing me some collateral in the back end of things. I'm contemplating just deleting this thing or posting it, but the audio is very bad. So that's why I never got posted. But I should just delete this thing.
He fucking murdered Maggie Smith the week of Montreal. We talked about him on the show. She died.
It wasn't on the show. It was within 2 days. And it was just
there was another one earlier this year where he was talking about the quarter pounder being the pinnacle of fast food. And in the same segment, he gets a notification talking about recalling all the quarter pounders in certain areas because of E. coli. It wasn't the next day. It was immediately 3 minutes later in the same segment. Another crazy one was the one where he talked about his favorite radio show, that in Canada. They all got fired 2 days later, and the station closed. I don't understand. He talked about this radio channel, said it was one of his. I felt so bad for the people that worked for that channel, for that station. Literally, all of them got fired. The station shut down. Shut down 2 days later. The curses. If you guys, I don't know if I'm guessing most of you watch Pat's show. if you're watching us. But if you haven't, go back and listen to these Cuss Corners. Go back and look at some of these Custy Awards. Like, it's insanity.
It's absurd.
Like, yes,
we can't make it up.
We think it's a joke, right? But this shit is fucking real, and it's scary,
real.
And it's real. Yeah, he killed Meatloaf. He killed Meatloaf. He killed the bitch from Murder She Wrote. Killed that bitch. Killed he's murdered like 7-8 people on the show. Like, all died within like 3 days after him talking about it.
Yeah. He's a real life Elsa, Kenny. He needs to put gloves on when he shakes people's hands because his powers are too much. He needs to rein them in.
Insurance companies need to figure out a way to sell Cust insurance on their life policies.
Not feasible. There's no actuary on the planet that knows how to evaluate that risk.
I listened to that on-pad show the week it came out, and I was floored. Like, he went on this huge rampage about how great the quarter pounder is at McDonald's. And literally 2 minutes after he stopped talking, he gets a notification on his phone talking about a recall for E. coli.
But the worst part, Kenny, is Tim is the nicest dude. Like,
not one of the. I talk about that on the Custy show.
You know,
like that's why it's so hard to really like talk shit about Tim if you know him. Like, it's easy. Yeah. Like, it was a lot easier when I didn't know Tim, right?
Yes.
Like, now that I know Tim, like, he's genuinely like really nice guy. Like, I remember we were all partying and we were all zonked out of our minds, and he was sitting there sober, still in the conversation, no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm sober and everyone else is fucked up, I'm judging your ass. I'm judging. I was like, I hate each and every single one of you. That's why I don't go out very much anymore. That's why I don't drink very often. I just don't like being around that type of people, right? And Tim is there now because I know how I get when I drink too much or do too much shit, and I don't like that person, right? So yeah, I've been trying to cut that with Tim. You know, doesn't do any of that stuff. I mean, he'll have a cocktail or two, but like, he'll sit there and still be in the conversation. He won't judge, you know, while you're doing some crazy illegal shit right in front of him. Like, no judgment. And like, he's such a nice guy that like, it's harder. Like, I've had so many tweets where I'll have it ready and I'm talking shit about Tim and I'll read it and I'm like, man, it's going to hurt his feelings. I'm just going to do that. I can't do that. And that's why it's really good that he has Pat, because Pat don't give a fuck. They've been friends for long enough where they're close enough where Pat can just talk all the shit. And Tim knows basically it's out of love, right? If Tim didn't have Pat, it would be worse, I think. What he is, really, I think his powers would be. They're true friends, like best friends. And that's really the only way. That's really the only way I think someone can get away with what Pat says to Tim. A lot. Like, if they weren't close and they weren't tight, and they say that wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so difficult. Like, I literally probably 24 times I've had something written. I was like, man, I can't do cuss like that. I can't do cuss like that. Not to leave it. But motherfucker is a curse. It's great. We've gone off the rails, but it's a good promo because the Custy Awards are coming soon. Make sure you go check that out. I think the voting's already over, but go check out the Custy Awards. Go check out me, Aaron, and Pat on the pre-show. It's hilarious. It's crazy. Go check it out.
Yeah. It's just so funny. It's unbelievably funny. And people say that, but like, that is 100% exactly what it is. But what is not unbelievably funny is Scotty Scheffler at $14,200, Kenny. We have a 5K range in the DFS Blood, Sweat, and Tears this week. 14-2 Scotty, 11-5 Rory, 10-4 John Rahm, 10-1 Bryson DeChambeau. What are we doing at the top?
Is it crazy to say that Scotty Scheffler is a pivot play? He was the fourth highest on golfer last week in Scotland. He wasn't first. He wasn't second. He wasn't third. Scotty Scheffler was the fourth highest owned golfer last week in major big tournaments. could be less this week. Could be like 5th, right? Like you think Rory and I think Rory, Rahm,
Tommy, Shane,
and Xander are going to take 80% of ownership, 70%, maybe even more than that, from the top guys. I don't know. I think it's possible that you get Scotty sub 20 this week. Now, am I going to do it? Probably not, because I love Rory, I love Rahm, and I love Xander. But game theory, this seems like going with Scotty is the play, right? It seems like going with Scotty is the play, because there's some guys in the 5K range you can play. A Dan Brown, Brian Campbell, a Wrighton, Penge is 6,000. You know what I'm saying? Pendas is 6,400. You can go down them. You got Cam Smith at 6,800. You got plays in the 6 and 5K. You can make a lineup with Scotty. It's not going to look great, but you could do it. And if you're getting 18, 19% Scotty.
Yeah. But I mean, the reason it's not because he's playing badly, Kenny, is because of his price that he's being like. So the other 5 guys, like you mentioned, like the names you're rattling off, Ward City, that's Hogwarts all the way over there. It's a brutal situation to kind of fit the other 5 guys in, because he's like $1,300 more, $3,000. Jesus, $3,000 more than the next most expensive guy.
It should be.
I think playing on Links Golf, where Scotty Scheffler's never had a top 5 in his 4 majors. It's been incredible what he's got up to in the last 4 years. It's 2 top 10s, a 7th, and I think an 8th, and then didn't make the top 20. I don't think the other 2 times. So, like, he's not like locked in on the links. Like it's not his jam. So I think I'm out.
We saw him last week really struggling with the greens and stuff like that. I'm not going to play him. I'm not. But like, if you're a leverage guy, I mean, I'm going to try and make a pivot play for every range.
Yeah.
This week. And I think it's Scotty. I think the pivot play is Scotty in the 10K range. If you can afford him, play him. If you like him and you can afford him, play him. I'm not, because I like Rory. I'm going to play Rory a bunch. I'm going to play Rory Rahm lineups that look great. You know what I'm saying? Like Rory, Rahm, Hovland, Reed. They're top 4. You can fit that and go 2 6K guys. Like that's doable. I like Rory. He's playing well. It looks like the mind frame is out. He's happy. First major, he's been like this since the Masters. It looks like whatever bugaboos he had mentally, he's away from it. He's playing good golf. Looked good at the Scottish. I see no problem playing Rory. I'm going to play Rory. My first cash game cornerstone is going to be John Rahm. The price is too good. I love Rahm. We've talked about him in the betting segment, with his length, and he could stay in bounds. His short game's been incredible. He's first in greens and regulation on live. Rahm is my first cash game.
He's my favorite play in the range. I think depending on ownership, we'll see what goes on there. My problem with Rory, Kenny, is he's volatile. Miscut in the last Open Championship, 6th, 3rd, 46th. Miscut 2nd. Depends where the ownership starts floating with him. I
get your problem with volatility, but in tournaments and stuff, you really just play it the upside, and he has the ultimate upside.
He absolutely does. But it's also nice to have someone like Rahm who provides you with as much upside and a lot more safety.
I think Xander plays in that same range, and that's why I have Xander as my second cash game cornerstone. I think the floor for Xander is very, very high, right? And obviously he has the upside to win because he won last year, right? So again, Xander is my second cash game cornerstone. But I mean, like, when it comes to tournaments, like, I don't think you should really worry about what their worst outcome should be when it comes to GPPs. I don't think that should be a thought in your mind. I think really when you're picking plays for tournaments, the only thing that you should be thinking about is their upside. For cash, it's completely different. And so, but I think for GPPs, I think when you bring their floor into account, it could stray you negatively when the floor really doesn't fucking matter for GPPs, especially for guys at this ilk that are this high up in GPPs. Byron, you can disagree with me. This is just something that I think when it comes to tournaments and GPPs in DFS. I don't think you should think about a golfer's floor when you're playing GPPs.
Not primarily. I wouldn't think about it as like the be all end all. Like that's not what you're thinking about when you're first clicking his name. But when you're trying to make a decision between Rory and Rahm, then that matters. And I think there's also a point to be made, Kenny, like if you're playing like 150 lineups and you're putting Rahm in like 100 of them, you want those 100 lineups to have a reasonable floor as well. Just because you're playing so many other high risk options in the other 5 spots that if Rahm can just give you a weekend, the other 5 guys that he's supporting allow you to really go aggressive at a GPP just because it gives you the opportunity for those other 5 guys to cash in. Whereas Rory,
I think it also depends
he gives you to really get a lineup across the line, a little less than Rahm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it also depends on what type of GPPs you're playing. Like if you're playing like mass 150, I don't know. I think you can go a little safer in single entries too. I think the floor comes more into account in the single entries as well. But a little DFS strategy right there. But Rahm is my first cash game cornerstone. My second cash.
And there's no right answer, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's your personal preference how you want to build lineups. So
yeah,
be Kenny, be me, be somewhere in between, whatever.
I agree. Rahm first cash game cornerstone. Xander second cash game cornerstone. Again, the floor is high. Previous winner showed a lot of steam Sunday and at the Scottish Open to almost get his first top 5 of the season. I think he finished 6th or 7th.
Eighth again. That's 2 8th places now.
Yeah,
this year.
And then I'm not really a big fan of anybody else in the 9Ks and up. I think as of yesterday when I made my 4 initial lineups, I rostered 10 golfers.
Ooh.
In those 4 lineups.
Tight like a tiger. I like it.
Because I like, even if it's chalk, I just have my beliefs in the golfers that I'm playing. I'll probably adjust that to maybe 12 as the week goes on. But I don't think I'm going to play anybody else in the 9K range. I think if you want to go pivot in the 9K range, it's just tough. I mean, I don't see anybody really garnering much ownership in the 9Ks.
It's going to be spread out between Tommy, Shane, Ludwig, and McIntyre. Those are just like, it's just like they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
You're not.
Pick
maybe
your favorite
Tommy
player
will
of
be
those 4
in between Xander and the rest of them. Shane Lowry's going to have obviously Portrush, defending champ, Steam. Ludwig, everyone loves to click his name because he's an uber talent. Bobby Mack in Europe had a great finish here. I think his 6th place was at Portrush at the Open, I think. So, there's reason to bet all these dudes, but I'm going to lean into Tommy at 95. I think the price for him is fine. He's likely going to be a second click in anyway. Don't see him being my first click at $9,500 because he doesn't check the 2 boxes, Kenny. He's the first one on the tier at $9,500. Xander and everyone above that has the top 10 and second place in majors. Tommy hasn't finished second in a major yet since 2021, so still looking for a little bit more upside from Tommy, but he's a great second click. And I think I'm with you. Can't say I'm thrilled with the rest of the 9K range. They do this all the time. Were we complaining last time that the 9K range was a lot easier to click because they had the 5K range with Scotty? When they made him super expensive, that the 9s were easier to click. But again, there's only 5 9s here. So, and 2 of them are like really only appetizing. But I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. In the 8s, Kenny, where are we going?
Hatton, love Hatton. He was my pick to win before the season started. I'm really FOMO that I'm not betting him. But I just couldn't really, I guess I could have gotten, I just don't feel the win, but he's the guy at this moment in time, but I could be wrong because he's the guy that I picked to win before the season. I'm going to play Hatton. His latest track record is extremely solid. I think he finished top 15 here the last time he played at Portrush. I do like Terrell. My third cash game cornerstone is going to be Victor Hovland. Again, iron game solid, plays the Open Championship well. Hopefully he misses in the right spots around the green. Just don't miss short. And he's had some spike, around the green. He gained 7 strokes around the green at the US Open. So it's not like it's impossible. All right. So I do like Hovland as my third cash game cornerstone. I don't give a fuck if he's cheap and chalk. I'm using him, I think, in 100% of my lineups this week. I'm using Hovland, and I think I'm using Reed in 100% of my lineups. I'm making 4 lineups this week. I'm making my cash lineup, the $100 single entry, and I'm doing 2 in the $88. That's what I'm doing for this week. Now, when you're looking for pivots, this is going to be my hustler play of the week. It's going to be Patrick Cantlay at $8,100. He's just above Hovland and Hatton, who I expect will be the 2 highest owned golfers in the 8K range. Right below him is going to be Henley, Fitz, and Rose, who I think will garner a bunch of ownership. Cantlay's going to be squeezed out. He's going to be 8%, 8 to 10%. I think you might be able to get single-digit ownership on Patrick Cantlay. It's not like he's been playing horrible. He got a 4th and a couple other top 15s in his last 6 events. Has a couple of top 12 finishes at the Open Championship. Ball striking, always solid. Short game has always been a strength. Though he's had sort of a down year with his short game, in the last few events he's played, it's sort of come back up. It does look like he's found something around the greens, basically, in his last few events. I think he's going to be a good leverage play in the 8K range. And that's who I'm going with my hustler play of the week. I do have another one in the 6K range, sort of a B, but we'll see about that one. Not really. It's a hustler play B, just in case, Cantlay does garner ownership, but I don't think he's going to catch any steam. I really think
he was 10% owned in the 2024 Open Championship, 9% owned in 2023 Open Championship, 15 and 14 in 22-21. So
because obviously the guy has talent, and at $8,100, he can easily pay his putts, right?
Yeah.
Winning, I don't know, but I think you get out there, and I think you perform decently, get you some points as your 3rd, 4th golfer out there if you're going super balanced.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a horrible play. And that's going to be my hustler play of the week for this week.
I love it, Kenny. I think that's super. It's sneaky. I'm not a fan that he hasn't had a top 5, but you also, you're paying $8,100 for this guy. You said 3rd or 4th click in your lineup. That's fine. Getting reasonable consistency from him. Who I'm not playing is Waco Neiman. Just not good at the Opens and overall in majors. So. But that's not really that big of a fade anymore.
It isn't, and I'm fading him as well. But it's so weird that he struggles at the Open Championship, because his ball flight, like when he first came out, I thought he was going, his first major would be an Open Championship, because he has that low, piercing, drive through the wind type of ball flight on a lot of his shots. And just looking at it, it's like, man, that's fucking perfect for the Open Championship. But you're right, he's fucking struggled. Even though he finally got that top 10 or whatever at a major. I'm not playing him this week.
Around the greens, Kenny, in all of his 16 rounds at the Open Championship since 2018, he's lost half a stroke on average. And in this range, I'm filtered on by tier. It's like the first big red box outside of Ludwig's putting at the Open, Bryson's putting at the Open. Those are the situations that you're finding yourself in as Neiman. The short game is paramount at these venues. And in majors, that's been his biggest bugaboo overall, is the short game jumpies. He gets a little jittery over there. I mentioned earlier with Justin Thomas to miss the cut, not to finish top 20, would be some nice play ProphetX bets there. JT, Kenny, how many top 5s does Justin Thomas have in majors since 2021?
1,
which is 19 major starts. The last 19, how many does Justin Thomas have top 5s?
1.
How many top 20s does he have in 19 major starts?
Probably not many. I think he's going to break out of that soon because he's playing better golf, but I don't think it's going to happen at the Open Championship.
Yeah. He's only got 4 top 20s, and he's looking for his first top 20 in an Open since 2018. So, you're not going to be getting there. And if you're looking at miscut equity, only Justin Rose at $7,600 has more miscuts than JT. He has the most miscuts of everyone at the top of the salary tier until you get to Justin Rose. That's got 8 as well. So very risky play, guys. I will be avoiding there in a big, big way. I think in the 8s for me, Victor Hovland, don't mind him at all. And maybe you might sprinkle in a bit of Tyrrell Hatton. But again, this 8K range, this whole sub-fat area, Kenny, under the 10K range it's difficult to figure out. There's not a lot of second place finishes in these guys, not a lot of wins. It's like, where are we going? The guys that do play good golf are struggling. So you're going to have to find a gem in the rough. But
that's why I think it's not that difficult to play Shefflin this week.
Yeah.
Because I think
you can't skipping all these
the
dudes.
9 and 8K. And then let's move on to the 7K. My favorite play is, Henley. He's in my cash lineup. Henley is in my cash lineup. He's not my final cash game cornerstone. My final cash game cornerstone is going to be Patrick Reed at $7,100. Of course, he has the Ryder Cup narrative. He has to win to make the team. And really, I would love to see him. I just want to see him. It might not be great for the team. It might not be great for the team, but Patrick loves that feeling of playing in the Ryder Cup, and that's when he becomes like a superhero. Honestly, the that he did to Roy was top 3 most spectacular things I've seen in golf. Right? Like ever. Like in golf. It was for the moment, for what it was. It was just incredible stuff. Like I screamed, like I yelled like out loud, like watching that. When I saw that live back in 2016, 2018, whenever it was. I just really want to see him back, and he's going to be my 4th cash game cornerstone. So cash game cornerstones for this week. It's going to be John Rahm at 10,400, Xander Schauffele at 9,700, Victor Hovland at 8,300, Patrick Reed at 7,100. That's going to leave you 14,700, plenty of money to fill out the rest of your lineups. Now, the pivot plays, because Fitzpatrick's going to be, Henley's going to garner some steam. Fitz might get a little bit of ownership. Sepp's going to garner some steam. Patrick Reed is going to garner some steam. I think the pivot play is Adam Scott. I think the pivot play at 7,300 is Adam Scott. 3 top 17s in his last, or 2 top 17s in his last 3 events. We've seen him, on top of leaderboards here recently. He did finish, I think, 10th last year at the Open Championship. I don't expect him to be double-digit owned. I think Adam Scott can make the pivot play for the 7K range. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think you're very spot on there, Kenny. By the way, Fitzy, looking for his first top 20 in an Open Championship. His best finish here was in 2019, finished 20th. So really looking to break through. Just hasn't found it, man, on the Open Championship courses, which is he's coming
British, in with good form. Like really good form, the best form that we've seen from him in the last year. I don't think I'm going to roster him either, because like I said, I only roster like 10 golfers this week so far, and I think I've gone over 7 of them. So there you go. Who else do you like in the 7K?
Okay, so haven't mentioned too many names in the 8s and 9s. Love Russell Henley. Kenny's spoken about him. I will give you my favorite play at the end of this range. Justin Rose at $7,600 could be my favorite play. I've spoken about him in the outright market already. $7,600. Love the pedigree, 2 top 2s. He's got the most second place finishes pretty much of anyone below $8,000 in majors. Seb Straka, another outright that I've spoken about already. Let's chat about some Cameron Young in an Open Championship. He's been sneakily good at these kind of venues. I've been all about fading the Cameron cult at the Travelers, at things like, weird events that people are playing 20%, 25% Cameron Young. Not about that life. $7,200 at an Open Championship in a major. Give me Cameron Young. I'm okay with that unless the ownership goes crazy. Spoke about Jason Day in the outright market as well, $7,200.
I think Day is another really good pivot. I think that's a good call.
Phenomenal pivot. I've got him ranked 13th in my model, Kenny. He's $7,200, so
I'm going to have to click his name. Yeah, I think he's sold me on his ass because I think he's gonna come under-owned.
Super low owned. Yeah, especially around Cameron Young. Patrick Reed, Ben Griffin.
Seb Straka's right there.
Seb Straka, Brian Harmon, $77,000. I'm in on him as well. Obviously
Corey Connors, pretty good last week. He's going to be accurate off the tee. He fits the mold that you're looking for. I think he's going to garner some ownership too. I like the Day and the Scott for pivots.
Yeah, so I like those. And then Jordan Spieth is going to be my favorite player in the $7,000 range. $7,700. If you're looking at major pedigree, it's the Open Championship, Kenny. He's been sensational. He grades 7th in strokes gained since 2018 in Open Championships. That's fantastic. He's going to be super low owned because he's neck injury, right? So, I'm not going to holster him in everything, roster, holster, whatever you're talking about. I'm not going to do too crazy, but I always preach, you ride the Jordan Spieth roller coaster on your own or with Kenny Kim. You don't ride it with everybody. You don't want Cust throwing up on you from the front seat. You don't want Pat's freaking protein shakes just slamming you in the face through the loop-de-loops. You just want one or two people on the roller coaster, and I think this is the time to jump on with Spieth at the Open Championship. He's going to be finessing shots, driving the ball great as well, which is the number one problem at a course like this, is him hitting an OB all the time. Off the tee's been great for Jordan Spieth as well, $7,700. So
Nabby
give me all of him.
Just had his third child born this week.
Little Sully. Oh my God, that's just too cute. So maybe he can land that plane in the River Thames or whatever Irish rivers nearby the golf course with old Sully factor, nappy factor, all of that jazz. In the $6,000 range, not the last range of the segment, where are we going in the sixes, Kendo VT?
I like your boy Cam Smith. Now, here's the thing about Cam. He usually starts playing better since he's gone to live. He plays better this time of year. If you look at his live finishes, all of his high live finishes are late June, early July, late July. For the last 3 years, that's when he has sort of peaked. It seems like he just doesn't give a fuck in the off season. And it takes him until now to get to some semblance of form. Now, it hasn't really translated to the Open Championship yet. But I don't think he's going to be very highly owned. And after what I saw, he was in, somewhat contention on Sundays, got a couple of top 10s at live in the last 2 events. I think he's had 3 top 10s in his last 4 or 5 on live. His short game is amazing. His putting is amazing. So I think I can get on board with Cam Smith. I don't think I've rostered him in any of them, but if something opens up and I change, I think I will. Other guys that I do like, Taylor Penrith, 6,500. Short game's been really strong here lately. He could pound it off the tee, but he could club down. He could be accurate. I do like Penrith this week at 6,500. Tom McKibben, really good performance last week at live at $6,200 this week. Again, a member of this course. So I do like McKibben down there at 6,300. Bezuidenhout, solid finishes here recently. Not bad. Pretty good at the Scottish short game. Usually normally above average. Doesn't make too many bogeys. Hits a lot of fairways. I think Bezuidenhout is in play this week down here. And I talked about him already, Marco Penge at $6,000. I do like him. He was on the betting card. The form has been immaculate.
Yeah. And I'm curious as to what his game translates to at a golf course like this where you got to dial it back, because he was hitting it with in Aldrich territory, which is far.
I had him in my cash lineup and I took him out. I'm not going to play him in cash.
Yeah, at this course, I don't know. I think
I took him out.
Boom or bust.
Who did I put in? Who did I put in cash? Go ahead, Byron. I'll look.
In the meantime, yes, Cam Smith to me grades out great. Obviously an Open champion. I think a lot of that is coming from St. Andrews, where you could kind of drive the ball anywhere you want, which is one of Cam Smith's biggest weaknesses. So the fact that there's OB everywhere, there's going to be a quacker probably once around that Cam Smith's drive just starts flying over OB. He just hits those snap duck hooks that just quack early and hard and go left fast. So he's my boy, but he's going to have too many doubles on the card, in my opinion, around here. So I'm going to actually lean into a little bit of Louis Oosthuizen, people. $6,500. If you think about, not playing the worst on Liv, Kenny, he's doing fine, not playing terribly. I looked at his strokes gained entering the week. It's okay. Nothing sensational, but he's one of the better Liv guys on the links. Missed the cut last year, 23rd the year before, missed the cut 3rd, 20th, 28th. Obviously won it back in 2010. So he's got the game to deal with these Liv things. The links stuff. I think he's very comfortable on the links. Give me him. Give me Tristan at $6,400, finishing 4th year last year. I've been bullish on him the whole fall swing through the John Deere at the Rocket, and then last week let us down a bit last week. I think this week is going to be really go time for him. He's actually a solid option for me at $6,400 in a big way. And then Tom Kim, going to be looking at a lot of Tom Kim. New caddy, $6,600 for someone that can really pop hard in majors. Give me some Tom Kim love. Matthew Jordan is someone that's been playing some really, really solid golf in Open Championships. Back-to-back 10th place finishes in the last 2 Opens for Matthew Jordan at $6,300. So you're going to get a really good gem at $6,300 from Matthew Jordan. And I'm, now scrolling down and not looking at any other more top 10s after his name. So he's pretty much bottom of the barrel in the 6K range for upside in Open Championships is Matthew Jordan. So let's see what he can do over there. I also like, the guys like McKibben and all the guys Kenny mentioned too. So what about Chris Kirk, Kenny? I think he's like a sneaky option at $6,100. Been playing kind of well lately. Suits the keep the ball in play type narrative. Good short game. Lucas Glover finished 20th here as well at Portrush in 2019. So a couple names if you're in the mood for that.
Yeah, once you get to the 5K
yeah.
range, right? I mean, you're looking. Rattan is one guy that I'm going to be playing at $5,900. Again, the form is just sick, like 1st, 3rd, 4th, 13th, 43rd, 4th, 13th, right? Or some shit like that.
So good.
Wild form for a guy that's $5,900. So I'll be looking at him. Daniel, Da Vinci Cole Brown, who last year was a first round leader, finished top 10. So you can get him. I think he had a pretty good finish here recently on the DP World Tour, if I'm not mistaken. He's coming in at $5,800. Nico, who was a first round leader last week in Scotland. Sort of played even par the rest of the way, but again, coastal courses seem like it's his shizzle. So I can get behind Nico Echeverria at $5,700. Brian Campbell, $5,400. Again, a lot of he's going to hit a lot of fairways. He's pretty good around the green, pretty good putter. Again, we've seen him win twice this season. So, you could look at him down there, and I think that's it for me.
How does a little bit of Mackenzie Hughes sound to you, Kenny, at $5,700, who has finished 16th last year at the Open and then 6th in the 2021 at Royal St. George's? So he's got some really solid outings on the links for Mackenzie. Very scrappy when it comes to short game, and the ball striking has found a groove this year as well. Francesco Molinari is someone that I think at a course like this, if you're looking for like a sprinkle, MME, he's the guy. $5,600, put him in like 3-4%, 5% of your lineups. Not in a single entry. He's too risky, in my opinion. Obviously, we're in the 5K range here, so you're going to be dealing with all of that stuff. If I'm looking at a couple other names, Kevin Yu on a ball striking kind of keep it in play. He's ultra talented when it comes to keeping it in play off the tee. Very good on the short side of things. When you're looking like on courses shorter than 7,200 yards, Kevin Yu pops a lot for strokes gained off the tee. Matt McCarty, always going to be in the mix for me at $5,600. I think he's a great value. Matthew Jordan, I spoke about in the 6K range. Jordan Smith in the 5K range, $5,900 is someone I'm in the mood for as well. And my sneaky favorite play is Zach Johnson, $5,200. Playing good golf, just making weekends. If you're in the mood for a Zach Johnson first round leader bet as well, he pops super hard. He's gaining this year in strokes in round 1 and round 2 and losing in round 3 and round 4.
What's the number?
It's
got to be
I have
like
no
250?
idea what the number is.
It's got to be like 250, 300 or something. It's got to be crazy. While you look at that, one guy that's not priced yet on DraftKings that I think will play, is my Korean brethren, Siwoo Kim. Again,
Just
short game. No, he's in.
Okay.
Ernie Els withdrew, and Siwoo took his spot. Siwoo was the first alternate, so he's not in the pricing, I don't think yet, but I figure he will be 6K, somewhere around there, in the 6K range. So with his short game, with his propensity to hit a lot of fairways, I like Siwoo this.
Beautiful. My favorite play, and I saved this for the end, Kenny. Zach Johnson, by the way, 225 to 1 for first round leader. Grab that with each ways. I think you look good over there. Guido Migliozzi in Open Championships. He's got 12 rounds and he's gained 2.5 strokes. So he's been popping pretty hard in these Opens. I am a big believer in him. I think he's going to do some good stuff for us. So he's going to be my favorite option down in the 5K range. Guido doing his thing. All right, Kendo. Let's see what he can get up to for some one and dones. I'll just give you right away. Justin Rose is going to be my guy. I'm way the hell down there. I need to play someone that no one else is going to be playing that can win. Give me Justin Rose.
Rory's only 13% available. I still have him. So I think I'm going to use him in the Mayo. I dropped like 127th. I used McIntyre last week. So I'm still, 120 inside the top 130. And I have Rory. I'm going to use him in the Mayo. In the Slider Cup, I'm not sure. I am not sure. I am sort of thinking, I don't know. I might go all live, because I don't know one's going to go Koepka. I might just throw it out there. I'm in third. I don't want to use, I have Scheffler, Xander left, right? For like my top Americans, but I'm saving them for the FedEx Cup playoffs because of how much the Tour Championships multiplied by 8. Like whatever amount of points you get is multiplied by 8, I think, for the Tour Championship. And I think the 2 previous playoff events, it's like multiplied by 4. So I think I need to save Xander and I need to save Scheffler for the playoffs. I don't really have very many great American options. I might just be like, Koepka, please, Lord Jesus, just get me like a top 20 and then maybe Hatton can win it. Right? Or something like that. Go with the live guys, because I really got to, it's different in a Slider Cup because you have to prepare for the end of the year. So I have Hovland, I'll probably use at the FedEx St. Jude. You know what I'm saying? All right. I have Oberg. I'll probably use him at the Tour Championship or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I have to position these guys in those playoffs. So I think I might just throw it in Koepka and Hatton and see where the fuck I fall.
Hey, do what you got to do, my man. Do what you.
I'm in third. I'm back in third. In there after last week. So there's 3 weeks left in the regular season. Top 7 in the regular season get a little bit of a payout. Not as big as, the end of the year, but you get a little bit of a payout at the end of the regular season. So I should be good on that as long as shit doesn't go fucking crazy anyway.
Beautiful.
But I was first last year going into the playoffs, and I think I finished 7th because I did not really plan ahead. Yeah. Right. And so Scotty was gone. I had nobody. Like a Tour Championship, I played Sung J M and I don't know, Bhatia or some shit like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only guys I had left that was in the Tour Championship. I had no choice. Yeah, no choice. Yeah.
All right, folks. that was the Fantasy Golf Degenerates for this year's Open Championship. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go leave a comment below. The first 3 people to guess the correct winner this week will get a free month, potential year, depending on how long it takes for me to cancel, in my Model Maniac Patreon, where you can find all the tools that I shared with you guys on here. Use code PORT50 for 50% off your first month if you don't want to wait till after the week, and you can get in now in the Model Maniac Patreon over there. Link is in my Model Maniac Twitter bio if you don't know how to use technology. I'd appreciate you guys jumping in there. It's growing beautifully. I love my little community in there. It's been a fun time doing that this year. Looking forward to next year. Use code FGD15 to get yourself 15% off the kickback golf stuff that we showed you during the betting segment. Love those Scotty Scheffler Augusta jerseys. Get yourself one of those. Use code FG Degenerates to get yourself 1.5% back on the Play ProphetX first month of plays up to $200 over there. Kendo Kim, where can the people find you, and how excited are you for the Open Championship this year?
You can find me on X at KendoVT. My final betting card, all my ProphetX plays, any types of tidbits and information that I get, any live bets. I still have a little bit of room. I could probably make 1 live bet, maybe 2. So we'll see how that goes. Usually I bounce up to $400 total for my betting bankroll. I think I'm at $350 right now with the bets that I have. So I saved a little bit. So make sure you go check me out at KendoVT. You know what? This is a great event. Now that I'm not an idiot and go to bed at a decent time, this event has been even better. Because I'll get up at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and start watching, and it's great. It's one of the truly great weeks of the year if you are a morning person, which I am now, which is weird. I woke up at 5:30 Saturday and Sunday just for no reason. Just woke up at 5:30 in the morning. That's what happens when you don't drink yourself to death on the weekend before.
My boy.
So, I did have one drink since Toronto. Now I remember. The night where I had the fucking nitrous handle. That was weird, though. I didn't really get fucked up. But I didn't really have too many drinks that night. But still, I did have drinks that night. So, anyways.
By the way, people, I will not be here next week for the 3M. I will be biking my ass across Iowa for 7 straight days. I'm assuming Kenny will get Baroff in here or somebody to cover. And it's probably the first show I've missed in a long time for the Fantasy Golf Degenerates. So,
probably since last year when you did this shit.
Yeah, exactly. This is the 1 week a year that please think of me. I will be doing more miles in the 7 days for the ride than I have trained for in this year. So I'm in trouble. Looking for love and support in a big way.
So I'll hit up Baroff. I'll hit up Baroff after the show. Hopefully we can get him on because that man's been on fucking fire. And for some reason, anytime he comes on the show, it's always been money. His picks have been baller. Every single time he subs. And I don't think he's subbed this year. So it's about time that we get him on. I'll hit up Baroff. If it's not him, we'll find somebody. But again, it's the Open Championship. It should be a fun week. I'm looking forward to this. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation.